sorry. I'm slightly out of practice.
Don't want it with us. I can tell you one time that we'll fuck you up. I can tell you one time, don't grab your guns. I'll tell you one time, this day belongs to us. Why?
I never get tired of this intro. Hello, good evening. It is 2024. This is the first War Room of the year. I'm a little bit rusty. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. Everything's a little bit off, so just bear with me. Today is day 723.
Really?
Yes.
It's been that long.
It's been that long. The last episode, I'm pretty sure we were somewhere in the 500s. I mean, we've
we
been
may
gone
have
a while.
been.
We've been gone a while. Mostly reason being, is because, well, I mean,
The offensive wasn't much of an offensive.
there was the winter break, like there was back in 23 and 22. So news stories were a little bit slow. There's been a lot of changes, developments, rumors, just a lot of opinion changing. Like, why are we still funding this? Or why is this not over with yet? Or why has NATO still not made them a member?
You
all
know
sorts
who's
of things.
asked those questions?
Everybody.
Rand Paul of
Every-
recently.
Everybody and nobody. I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, they're still at war. There are still people that are stuck there in ice cold trenches and whatever, right? They're all just stuck there. And there's nothing good coming out of this. There's no inevitable conclusion. Another major change, my source for the casualty report has changed since Elon Musk took over Twitter. So the Kyiv Independent page is sort of broken, which is very inconvenient for me because I woke up this morning to the news of today's episode and I tried very diligently to get as much of it done before I left for work today as possible, and then came home and tried to get all the show prep done in time to get it on time, and here we are 50 minutes late. My apologies.
Totally
Um,
Sean's fault.
Totally my fault. Because we got a lot to cover, but it's only like 2 topics today. We're going to keep this one short, sweet, to the point. It's not going to be a long episode like the ones in the past, which I'm
Aw.
sure Mikhail Knightstrikesky or Mikhail China Strikesky is very happy with, because we're not going to keep you here for 2 or 3 hours. Because
Oh,
I haven't eaten dinner yet.
It, if we discuss, I don't mind having a discussion
We
on
can do that.
something.
We can do that.
Which I do want to hypothesize the going on of the day. I do want to hypothesize.
We can do that. And you and I will do that.
Okay.
I was going to invite other panelists in, but honestly, we just want to get through this today. So we're going to keep this clean and simple, just to kind of get back in the groove. We may do more of these in the future this year. It's just, I'm going to try to stick War Room specials to major events, similar to what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
If you read the video description, you already know what we're talking about. If you didn't, it's okay, because
just listen along.
Pwnery quit social media recently. Like, if you try to look me up on the Facebooks or the Instagrams, I'm not there anymore. Like,
well, you still have a YouTube channel, so you haven't quit it completely.
I've quit the day-to-day social media bullshit because
Did you quit Facebook?
I deactivated my accounts on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, and I follow you on Facebook, so now the hell
No,
how the hell am I gonna know what's going on with
you? I
you?
didn't delete it. I just deactivated it. I don't want to deal with it anymore for a while. Like, I just need to walk away from it for a while, because this is something I've been thinking about doing for probably 2 years now, and I have deliberately sort of weaned myself off of it recently, and I don't really miss it, to be honest. I did do a post 3 days ago, and I sort of just kind of put it all out there. And if you are a follower on my Instagram or social media, Facebook, whatever, you kind of know what's going on. And I was just like, you know what? Here it is, and thanks for the fish, because I'm just tired of it. I mean, let me recap what my week has been like. I've worked 75 hours in a week. I know some of my tradesmen friends do that every week.
They're like, what's the problem?
Right. But if you know what I do for a living, that's a lot of hours for what I do. And I also took on sort of a second job, which almost none of you know about. But that second job doesn't take taxes out of my income. So for the first time in my lifetime, I had to file 2 separate incomes on my taxes, and then I owed Uncle Sam more than $2,000. So that got done, and then I still had money left over. And then if you follow my Pwnery Tinkers playlist, my other content, that's not the game stuff, because I know it's not for all of you. I dropped like $4,000 on my truck recently. So like, and it's all elective fun stuff for once. It wasn't just I have to fix it to get it going. So
yeah, it's primarily just, what, upgrades?
Upgrades, all upgrades. Matter of fact, the most important one is getting delivered tomorrow, which I will record a small video and review on that. So look forward to that. But yeah, a lot of stuff. This year's SHOT Show, like, let's just go ahead and recap up to today. Why not? You and I are here.
Yeah.
SHOT Show this year fell for clickbait, because Classic Firearms did a video where they put this thumbnail of a Soviet-era machine gun that I would love to own, called a DP-28. And it was obviously clickbait, because I specifically called them out and asked, I said, where did you find that in your thumbnail? Because that is exactly what I want to buy. Hit me up, because I'll buy it. And what did they do? Not answer, because that guy just put it up there for clickbait. I'm not going to name names. You'll see it, or you probably already saw it.
Clint does that shit all the time.
That wasn't Clint.
That's why
it wasn't
got all that
Clint.
shit on his
It wasn't Clint.
Wall.
Not this time. It was
so
Matt.
It was Sweaty Ben then.
No, it was Matt. I said I was going to name names, but Matt, what the fuck? You put up a DP-28 in the thumbnail, and then you wouldn't answer me where the hell you got it, because I want to buy it. And if you
Probably a custom build.
I'll still buy it if you tell me where to get it. Anyway, other than that, I saw nothing else at SHOT Show except for the Tommy built T7, which is way more than I want to spend, and then
And
PSA's
yeah,
X57, which wrong caliber, but nice try.
it looks like a MP7.
Yes.
So
I'll still, you know what? If they make it in 5.7, I will still entertain getting it. I like it. I think it's cool. But
listen, I gotta
would
tell you,
much rather have the T7.
I mean, I've got the dagger, but when I shot the PSA rock for the first time at the gathering, I was like, I want this in my life. I need this in my life. Where have you been all my life? And then I got one.
Yeah. Well,
And I shot that in the backyard, and I'm like, I needed this in my life.
I need 5.7 reloading components to become more available, and then
Yeah,
I'll go crazy with 5.7.
that's the only downside.
I still want that 12.5 AR 5.7 upper that takes P90 mags. I would so love to have
too.
that where it uses the mag well as an ejection port. Think
It's
it's
just-
awesome.
I just find it's a little hard to swallow for $600 or $700.
The upper,
Yes,
it's a little pricey, but you know what the good things usually are, right? As long as it
I
works,
know.
I can live with it. It's just, you know what? I'm going from 5.56 to 5.7.
and I say this, and eventually I'll be like, "Hey guys, guess what I got?"
Yeah.
And you know, you'll be the asshole saying, "What, a woman?" And I'm like, "No, I got the 5.7 AR upper."
Like I didn't even have to feed you the rope on that one. You did that to yourself.
Yes, but again, this is the kind of shit me and Sean talk about all the time. So.
Look, I rib you previously. Anyway, I didn't do this on air. You did that to yourself this time. I'm clean and innocent on this one.
Yeah, but I figured I'd just throw it in there just for the joke.
I'm just saying I didn't do it. That's all you.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so, SHOT Show stuff. Yeah, Tommy built T7. Would love to have it. That's a lot of money to shell out. I just shelled that much money out in other things, which
A lot of his stuff is like that.
You'll all see on the channel, and well, some of it already came out, and then
The Hudson H9 the Daniel Defense.
I'm
H9.
still not convinced that it's what it is.
Yeah, I know.
After seeing the teardown video of that thing, it's a Glock and a Hudson frock.
And a Hudson frame.
It's a Glock and a Hudson frock. To me, I have the original H9, and well, mine still works. Like, never had a problem with it. Worked great. Low serial number. Everything works. Does what it needed to do. I will admit that the Daniel Defense one, the accessory rail seems more sensible because it's a little up higher. But I'm still concerned about Boraxis. I want to shoot one, the new one, next to my old one. I think that'd make a good video. So I'll keep an eye on my local range and see if they have one on the rental wall. And if they do, I'll rent it. And then I'll show you all a video of the old versus the new and tell you if it's really different or not. Because I don't see it happening. Not for what they're asking for it. Anyway, there are people in the chat. I should probably address that. I'm very surprised because guess what? I didn't do the social media advertising this time. Because guess what? I dropped social media. So to the bearded guy, to the Bjorn, to Gavin, my buddy Gavin, and to
the finest of apes.
The finest of apes. Good evening to you, and to anyone else who catches this on the replay. Thanks for dropping by. Let's just go ahead and get into the freaking video, because, I mean, we're already, 15 minutes in? And I told you I didn't want to keep you up too long this time. Today's day 723, and the subject of today is mysterious deaths, quote, mount up. And for those of you who don't know, about a week ago or so, Tucker Carlson flew to Moscow and interviewed Russian President Vladimir Putin. And sitting there
Putin
going,
let him leave, too.
He let him leave without radiation sickness or poisoning or anything, which blew my mind.
I want to comment on this.
Go ahead.
I know why Putin did it, because he probably went and talked to one of the Putin's liaisons before he went over there and did it, and said, I want to interview him, I want to ask him about a couple questions, I want to get his perspective on this whole situation. And that's why they allowed it and they went through with it, because it was just the chance for Putin to give himself good press, which
It's
he still ended
possible.
up looking like an asshole. But again, he's Russian. What do you expect?
I sat down to all 2 hours and 20 minutes of it, and I didn't get that vibe. I walked away from the Putin interview a lot like Tucker Carlson did. For those of you who didn't know, that happened. You can find the videos on YouTube in its entirety on Tucker Carlson's channel. Tucker Carlson's channel. Why is that such a tongue twister? Anyway, you can see it on his channel. He does a brief synopsis in the beginning of the video, and he lays the table out for you before you sit down to a formal dinner. He explains what's about to happen, what he thought was going to happen, and what he left thinking after it had been over. And strangely enough, after I was done watching it, I sort of walked away with the same sort of impression he did. And I don't know if it's because he set the table before I got to sit down and ingest it, or if I heard it and then said, you know what, I'm going to go into this open-minded and I will listen to this and see where the chips will fall. And truth be told, when the chips fell, I thought, you know what, I agree. And what I mean by that is Tucker Carlson summarized his interview by saying, this guy truly believes what he says, and on the basis of what he told me, it makes sense why he would believe this. That's all I'm saying. I'm not judging one way or another. Because that interview, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, formulate your own opinion. In very, very brief summary, you will get a incredibly lengthy history lesson on the interrelationships between the Soviet Union, Russia, and the Ukrainian territory and the surrounding area. Some of it may come off a bit propagandist, but there is a big history lesson in this interview. If you have to do it in sections, if you have to intake it in bits because you just can't sit through it that long, fine. Just take your time and work through it piece by piece by piece. And you may come up with an opinion either the same as his or mine or different, and that's fine. It's just, it was very surprising how that all went down and how it ended. Anyway, today's subject, a week or so removed from the Tucker Carlson interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin, we woke up to the news this morning out of Munich, Germany, that Putin's largest critic, Alexi Navalny, the guy in the picture, probably the most genuine threat to taking over leadership in the country, mysteriously dies in the Russian Polar Wolf prison at the age of
IK3,
47.
Right?
IK3, I believe, yeah. That part, what's the most annoying part to me, is two of the people on my Discord have him, Alexei Navalny, on their celebrity death pool. They are now 53 points ahead of everyone else.
Did I put it on mine?
No.
Okay.
I'll check, but I think the short answer is no.
Probably not.
Let me look real quick.
I don't think I did.
Let's see. The Mike Strikes list. No.
No.
No. I'm gonna update this list in real time right now, actually. 53. Bastards. Damn it. I think Ross had it too. Yeah, he did. God damn. Anyone else have that on their list? I don't think I had it on mine. No. So yeah, the first major points have been dealt out in the celebrity death pool. Two people have 3 points. That sucks.
That's,
It
there
sucks
you
for me.
go. For
Anyway,
those that don't know, on Sean's Discord, we've got a celebrity death pool.
yes. If you guys join the server and if you ever want to play, there's a channel called Celebrity Death Pool. I update it every year with the year. So today it'll say Celebrity Death Pool 2024. The rules are in there. It's just a little macabre game we play. It's not we don't wish death upon anybody. It's just, if anything, we recognize the lives of those we've lost. So I always post the stories about the day they die, or we have a small discussion about who it was, or why they died, or how they died, or whatever. So anyway, tonight we're going to look at the details of the latest in a massive list of mysterious deaths. We're going to expand a little bit on what the Polar Wolf Prison is, and we're going to answer the question in a lighthearted way: why do Russian people, especially those who specifically have an issue with the leadership at the Kremlin, seemingly have the worst luck and balance when it comes to falling out of windows in high places? Yep, we're going to do that. So anyway, let's work our way backwards this time
This will be
around,
fun.
okay? Instead of me going through the whole week or the whole month or year or whatever, we're going to go backwards. We're going to start with the most recent news. So,
Going back in time?
no, we're going to go today and then work our way back. So,
Okay.
that's the same picture of the same guy, just more updated. I believe that picture was taken 3 days ago.
That's I read something this morning saying that he had either yesterday or last week he had an actual video interview done, and then he mysteriously dies after that. That's kind of convenient, isn't it?
This photo was taken 3 days ago.
Yeah.
His wife got to speak with him a couple of days ago. So that's just, I'm going to set the table for that because we'll discuss that in a second.
All right.
Anyway,
Keep going.
Russia's prison agency announced Friday, today, that prominent Vladimir Putin critic and opposition leader Alexei Navalny has died at the age of 47. The Federal Prison Service said in a statement that Navalny felt unwell after a walk on Friday and lost consciousness, according to the AP. An ambulance arrived to try to rehabilitate him, but he had died. Navalny's spokesperson said in a post on X that, quote, "We have no confirmation of this yet. Alexei's lawyer is currently on his way to KARP, K-H-A-R-P, not the fish. As soon as we have some information, we will report on it." This is Kira Yarmish. This is Alexei's lawyer. Navalny was being held at the IK3 penal colony, also known as the Polar Wolf, in KARP, K-H-A-R-P, not the fish, in northern Russia, which is considered one of the country's toughest prisons. As a matter of fact, almost everyone who goes in there never comes out alive, just so you know. Previously, Russian authorities had held him at a facility roughly 145 miles east of Moscow. Navalny's team lost contact with him after he failed to appear in court via a video link for a hearing on December 5th, kicking off a desperate search until he suddenly resurfaced in KARP around Christmas. Not the fish. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Friday that Navalny's death in a Russian prison and the fixation and fear of one man only underscores the weakness and rot at the heart of the system that Putin has built. Russia is clearly responsible for this, Blinken added. We'll be talking to many other countries concerned about Alexei Navalny, especially if these reports bear out to be true. In 2021, President Biden, after meeting with Putin in Geneva, Switzerland, was asked what would happen if Navalny died in Russian custody. He was quoted as saying, "I made it clear to him that I believe the consequences of that would be devastating for Russia." Navalny has previously organized anti-government demonstrations and has run for office to advocate for reforms against what he claims is corruption in Russia. He was the victim of an alleged assassination attempt in 2020 when he suffered poisoning from a suspected Novichok nerve agent.
Did they try? Did they try to uh, nuclear isotope him?
Not yet. He remained in a coma for several weeks while doctors in Germany fought to keep him alive. He accused Putin of being responsible for his poisoning. Navalny then returned to Russia
He's
in
not wrong.
2021, when authorities immediately arrested him and later sentenced him to 19 years in prison on extremism charges. Listen, you were almost killed in Germany. Why the fuck would you go back to the country that's trying to kill you, you idiot? His team has repeatedly raised concerns about his treatment following his return, and Navalny has said that the charges were politically motivated. You don't say.
You don't say.
The remote region where Navalny was being held is notorious for long and severe winters. Carp, not the fish, is about 60 miles from Vorkuta, whose coal mines were part of the Soviet Gulag prison camp system. Yes, Cold War Soviet Gulag camp system.
Yes, it was built on the camp known as the 501st Gulag construction camp.
Meaning there was 500 before it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Putin spoke about Navalny, he made it a point to never mention the activist by name, referring to him as that person, or similar wording, in an apparent effort to diminish his importance, according to the AP. Last August, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the founder of Russia's Wagner Group, who challenged the rule of Putin, was killed in a plane crash outside of Moscow. The White House then appeared to formally acknowledge that the government believes Prigozhin was assassinated by Putin.
You don't say.
You don't say. So, what we have here is potentially the martyring of the most dangerous adversary to the status quo of the Kremlin. And we knew this was going to be a possibility. I always said that, if anything, he would lead like a revolution in Russia, a coup, whatever. He would make the people uprise, maybe get the military to side with him, whatever.
Now Putin's made it much, much worse.
Putin does an interview. Tucker Carlson asks a very direct question about prisoners and exchanges and people getting killed mysteriously. How many more mysterious people are going to die mysteriously? And then
lost it over.
Suddenly fucking Navalny dies, right? So
yeah,
this death after that interview is meant to be a statement to the global media. Clearly.
Yeah, it's a statement of I'm in charge. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. Basically,
Right.
what Putin's saying. But what I fear he lacked the foresight to realize that instead of Navalny being a prominent naysayer of his,
Right.
He's turned Navalny into something much worse that may turn around and bite him in the ass.
Well, if he's been martyred, then in the next few days, maybe the few weeks, you would probably see more rumblings of coups or uprisings or revolutions or whatever. If we don't see any of that, it's going to be because he has strategically disappeared certain peoples in certain parts of his own country to quell the uprising.
Right.
And why do I have this theory that could happen? Well, why don't we go over the list of mysterious deaths of detractors of Vladimir Putin? Now, I'm going to spare you all the entirety of this list, okay? Because this list, it makes Hillary Clinton's death list look like a joke. Like the sheer number of people. I'm only going to take you back to 2022, okay? We're going to go through this, like, really quickly. It's going to be just name, photo, death, how they died, where they died. And this is just to give you an idea of how absurd this is. Because if anybody goes through this entire list and they don't believe that there's something really fishy going on, I've got some beachfront property to sell you in New Mexico, because we're going to sink California and Arizona and entire West Coast first. Because this many people being dead under mysterious circumstances, what the hell is going on in Russia? So, obviously, 2024, Navalny being the obvious one, right? That's the first one. The second one is this specimen of female. This not too bad looking specimen of female. Her name is Zoya Konovalova. She was aged 48. She was the editor-in-chief of the state television and radio broadcasting company Kuban. She died January 5th of this year in Krasnodar Krai. Here's the weird part. She died right next to her ex-husband. Cause of death? Suspected poisoning, quote, incident. First of all, she was found with her ex-husband. They're both dead. And it looks like a poisoning incident. Not a murder, suicide, none of that. Poisoning incident. Right? Television and radio critic. That's the first one. All right, so we're going to start from the now and work our way backwards. This is here. Vladimir Egorov, aged 46, politician, oil businessman in Tobolsk. He died December 27th, 2023 in Tobolsk, Tyumen Oblast. Oblast is like region or county, something like that, right? Found dead in the yard of his own home from a suspected 3-story fall from a building. 3 stories. Fell out of a window. 3 stories. Dead.
That's some window.
Some fall. This is Evgeny Postrygan, aged 50. He was the chief accountant at a sanctioned information satellite systems, Reshetnev. He died December 17th, 2023 in, oh boy, Zhelezhnogorsk, Siberia. He was found dead in his own garage. Cause of death? Accidental asphyxiation. They made no mention of a vehicle in the car. They didn't mention a hose in the tailpipe. None of that. Accidental asphyxiation.
No banana in the tailpipe, huh?
None of that. Moving on. This is Vladimir Svirvidov, age 68, former Lieutenant General of the 6th Air and Air Defenses Army, also recipient of the Order of the Red Star. He died November 29th, 2023 in, Anzhevsky Stavropol Krai. Found dead at his home with his wife. Cause of death? Apparent carbon monoxide poisoning. So, him and his wife. Okay, moving on. This. Vladimir Nekrasov, age 66. He was the chairman of Lukoil. Does that sound familiar to you? He died October 24th, 2023, of, quote, sudden heart failure. Sudden heart failure. He had no history of high blood pressure, no history of cholesterol problems, no history of heart conditions. Died of sudden heart failure. This is Valery Chikalov, aged 47, Russian Navy veteran, Wagner Group's head of security and foreign logistics. He managed several front companies to coordinate activities between Syria and Libya. He died August 23rd, 2023, in the Kuzenkino Balovsky district. According to the Wagner Group, the plane was shot down by air defenses. However, according to the U.S. government and aviation experts, the plane was downed by a bomb on board due to sabotage.
No.
No, this is the best part because he's part of a trifecta. So, this is Dmitry Utkin. You've probably seen him before on the War Room because I like to show off his SS tattoos. He was aged 53, former special forces officers in the GRU, co-founder of the Wagner Group, recipient of 4 Orders of Courage in Russia. He also died August 23, 2023.
On
in
that
the
plane.
same place, same plane, same circumstances. And to round out the triplet, Yevgeny Prigozhin, age 62, Russian oligarch, mercenary, Wagner Group co-founder and leader, and former close confidant of Russian President Vladimir Putin until he launched a brief rebellion on June 23rd, 2023, exactly 2 months prior. He died August 2023 on the 23rd in the same Kuzenkino Balovsky district. Same plane, same circumstances, likely the primary target. Moving on. This is Gennady Loparev, age 69, former lieutenant general in the FSO and overseer of various construction projects, including Putin's palace in Gelensk near Sochi. He was also imprisoned in the IK3 Polar Wolf prison in 2017 for taking
don't
bribes.
say.
Yeah, for taking bribes and charges that he denied a year prior in 2016. He died August 16th.
Everybody denies those charges.
Of course. He died August 16th, 2023 in the IK3 prison colony, Ryazan Oblast.
Imagine that.
Oh, here's the best part. Died of leukemia only 48 hours after diagnosis. All news agencies reported no previous signs of any illness before being interred in the Polar Wolf. Now, welcome to Polar Wolf Gulag. This
By
is
the
where you
way,
will
you
stay.
had leukemia.
This is where you will work. Before we put you to work, we're going to give you physical. Oh, Shitsky, you have leukemia. 48 hours later, oh, Shitsky, he died. How convenient. Moving on.
Disconnected.
This is Anton Cherepennikov, aged 40, billionaire owner and head of state-affiliated company Citadel, specializing in digital wiretapping, equipment, and telecommunications monitoring technology, sanctioned by the U.S. in 2023. He died July 22nd, 2023, in Moscow. He was found dead in his office of apparent cardiac arrest
Surprise, surprise.
at age 40. Moving on. This interesting looking young woman, not maybe young woman. This is Natalia Bochkareva. Bochkareva, aged 44. She is the daughter of former Governor Penza Oblast Vasily Bochkarev. She managed her family's lumber processing and bakery businesses. She died July 14th, 2023 in Moscow. She was found dead inside of her apartment. Again, apparent cardiac arrest. Did I mention she was also a staunch critic of Vladimir Putin? Moving on. This is Alexander Nikolaev, aged 72. Worked for Rosatom since 2016. Former diplomat. In the years 2003 to 2008, he was the Russian Consulate General of Simferopol, Crimea. He died July 13, 2023. Beaten up near his home by unnamed assailants and died 3 weeks later in hospital. The assailants were never identified, never caught. Okay. Now, granted, he's 72, taking a beating. Maybe he died because of a mugging. Maybe. I'm not saying these all got killed. I'll give that one the benefit of the doubt. This is Alexi Avramenko, aged 46, Minister of Transport and Communications of Belarus since 2019. He died July 4th, the 4th of July, 2023, in his country home near Minsk, Belarus. All reports are saying that he, quote, died suddenly at 46. No other details were available. Just, little Shitsky, he died. Sorry. This is Andrei Fomin, aged 57. Prosecutor of Chuvashia since 2020, or since the year 2020. He died July 1st, 2023 in the Volga River near Cheboksary. He, quote, fell ill suddenly while swimming and then drowned. Like, I'm swimming, yay, we're swimming, oh, I don't feel so good. Blech. That's what happened to this guy. Just, jumped in the river. Volga River. Is it ever above freezing?
No.
Whatever. Just jumped in, felt sick, died. How
The
convenient.
local polar bear club.
Yeah, how convenient. Moving on. This stunning woman. Stunning. Her name is Kristina Baikova. Well, it was. She was 28 years old. She was the vice president of local bank, head of department for work with corporate clients. She died June 24th, 2023, near her apartment in, oh boy, Kodonsky Boulevard, Moscow.
Such a shame.
Cause of death? Fell off of her apartment window at the 11th floor. Circumstances of the incident have not yet been clarified. Fell out of an 11th story window. Fell out of window.
I don't buy it.
At age 28. Right. This is Grigory Klinishov, aged 92. Look at the picture I'm using. Age 92. Now, believable because he's so old, right? Physicist, co-creator of the Soviet hydrogen bomb, RDS-37. He died June 17th, 2023 in his apartment in Moscow. All of this so far sounds legit, right? 92 years old, died of old age maybe, right? Found dead in his apartment of an apparent suicide, leaving a note at age 92. Really? I mean, you're 92 years old, right? This reminds me of an old Ron White joke. If you're 600 pounds, just keep eating and go for the record. Go for the 1,000. This guy's 92. Just keep living, dude. Go for the 100. Be a Cenarian before you die. Nope, he had to opt out and he supposedly left a note. Here's the funny part. The note,
Allegedly.
allegedly, the note, the handwriting didn't match any record of any handwriting he ever had. Okay, fine. This guy is Artyom Bartanev. He's aged 42. He's 2 years younger than me. He was a
He's older than
federal
me.
judge of the Kirovsky District Court. He died June 8th, 2023, near his apartment in Kazan, Tatarstan. He was found dead after falling 12 stories from his apartment window. These windows are dangerous in Russia, aren't they?
Yeah, I was about to say, you know what? They should ban windows in Russia.
They should put burglar bars on all windows in
I
Russia.
think they do.
Wow. Then he's a contortionist.
He is.
This is Pyotr Kucherenko. Age 46, State Secretary and Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education of the Russian Federation. He died May 20th, 2023 in Mineralny Vody Airport, Stavropol Krai. He died after falling ill on board of a flight from Cuba to Russia. Alleged heart condition. No prior medical history of heart condition. No prior medical history of hypertension. No prior medical history of high blood pressure, cholesterol, none of those things. But he had an alleged heart condition the day he died. Okay.
That is so depressing.
Moving on. This is Igor Shkurko. Sometimes I can get it out right. He was 49 years old. He was the deputy director of, oh boy, Yakutsk-Karenko. He died April 4th, 2023 at his pre-trial detention of an apparent suicide. Didn't even mention what he was charged with. Just, we got him here, and he committed suicide. No formal charges were ever actually filed, listed, or made public. Just, here he is. We're going to put you in a trial. We're going to tell you what you're being charged with. This is an arraignment. And he committed suicide. Okay. Sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah. This is Vyacheslav Rovnieko. 59 years old. Oil magnate, co-founder of Urals Energy, co-owner of the Belgian oil company NAFTA. NAFTA?
NAFTA.
It's the name of the company. Director of Interregional Fuel Union. Oh, and he was an ex-KGB spy, much like the boss, if you think about it.
He wasn't a good spy, otherwise he would have seen it coming.
Yeah. Yes.
Was that a little too harsh?
No, that was great.
I'm sorry if that was a little too harsh.
Spot on assessment. He died February 22nd, 2023 in an unspecified gated village in Moscow. He was found unconscious in his own house, but it was an unspecified gated village. Unspecified village, but it was his house. It's pretty specific, right? He was found unconscious. Subsequent medical help could not save his life. How does that work? Unconscious does not mean you're not breathing. It just means you're unconscious. Did you... Oh my god. Did that just happen?
What just happened?
I don't want to talk about it. I just have to clean it up. Anyway, yeah. Apparently. Apparently my dog's not feeling well. Stupid dogs. Alright, chaos averted. Alright, so yeah. Unspecified place, but it was his house. Passed out. Couldn't save him. Whatever. This, you've probably seen her in previous war rooms. Her name is Marina Yankina. She was 58 years old. She was the head of the Financial Support Department of the Ministry of Defense for the Western Military District. Boy, that's a mouthful. She died February 16, 2023, at her house in Zamshina Street, St. Petersburg. She was found dead after falling from a window on the 16th floor. There's those fucking windows again. Windows of death. That's what they are.
Why can't we have windows of peace?
I don't know. This is Vladimir Makarov. What a name. He was 72 years old. Former police general in charge of cracking down on anti-war protesters. He died February 13th, 2023, at his suburban home northwest of Moscow. State-run TASS news agency reported that they found him dead in an apparent suicide immediately following his dismissal by Russian President Vladimir Putin. I mean, how much more poignant can you be? How much more direct can you say is you're fired right before you kill somebody? Name how many movies that happens in. All of them.
All of them.
All of them. This is Dmitry Pavochka, aged 49, quite bald. Former manager of Roscosmos, Sukhoi, Lukoil, Bank Menatep, and Rosdragmet, while presently or formerly involved with many other financial institutions and energy companies. He died January 26, 2023, on the 17th floor of a building in Leningradsky Avenue, Moscow. Now, before you think he fell out of a window, look at the picture to the right of his face. He was found burned alive after falling asleep, apparently with a lit cigarette in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is Magomed Abdullayev, age 61, former chairman of the government of the Republic of Dagestan. He died January 5th, 2023, in Makhachkala, Dagestan. He died at a hospital after being, apparently, hit by a car while crossing the street. Now, you know what? I'll be fair. That could happen, right? We'll let that one go. That can happen. What did the Dagestanis ever do to anybody, right? We'll let that one go. This is Vladimir Nestorov, age 73, engineer who was a general director of the Khrunichev State Research and Production Space Center. He died December 28th, 2022, near Moscow. All news reports, including the autopsy, says, quote, died under mysterious circumstances. No further details were given. Probably because they threatened the guy performing the autopsy. It will stay mysterious. This is Alexei Maslov, age 69, former commander-in-chief of the Russian ground forces and special representative of the Ural Vagonzavod. He died December 24th, Christmas Eve 2022, at the Burdenko Main Military Clinical Hospital, Moscow. Died unexpectedly in a military hospital with no cause given. No autopsy was performed, no further details were pressed for. Just died unexpectedly.
Mysteriously.
Happens every day, right? You just fell right the fuck over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is Pavel Antov, age 65, founder of the Vladimirsky Standard, a meat processing company, and deputy member of the Legislative Assembly of Vladimir Oblast. He died Christmas Eve 2022. So, yeah, Alexei didn't die alone, right? Pavel went with him. So he died Christmas Eve 2022 below a window of the Hotel Sai International Rayagada, Odisha, India. Fell out of a window from the Hotel Sai International. Another Russian colleague, Vladimir Baidenov, died in the same hotel 2 days prior. Don't worry, we'll get to him too. This here, because it fell in between these guys dying, this is Alexander Buzikov. He was age 66. He was the general director of the Admiralty Shipyards. He died Christmas Eve 2022 in St. Petersburg. He died suddenly the day after he attended the float-out ceremony of the newest Lada-class submarine, Veliki Luki. No other explanation was given to the cause of his death. So he went out there and he christened a boat and died. Right. Okay.
Mysteriously.
Sounds legit. This is, well, Vladimir Baidenov. Yes, Baidenov. Vladimir Baidenov. Age 61. So he's already, what, 15 years ahead of our Biden? Yeah, something like that.
Of our Baidenov.
Yeah. Business associate and travel companion of Pavel Antov, the guy 2 deaths ago. He died also December 22nd, 2022 in the Hotel Sai International, Rayagada, Odisha, India. Cause of death? Suspected heart issue. Suspected heart issue. No formal autopsy, no confirmation of death was given. Okay. This is Dmitry Zelenov, aged 50, co-founder of Donstroy, a construction company. He died December 9th, 2022 in the Antibes in the French Riviera.
How do you die in the French Riviera?
He reportedly felt ill and fell over a railing and hit his head. He later died in the hospital without ever regaining consciousness. I've been to the French Riviera. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. I mean, if you're going to go, it's one of the nicest places to go. But I'm pretty sure when he went there, he was not falling out and hitting his head. It's funny enough, he's not the last person to die there under mysterious circumstances.
Oh,
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. This is Grigory Kochinov, aged 41, creative director of Agima, an IT company. He died December 7th, 2022. Volodarsky Street, Nizhny Novgorod. Reportedly fell to his death from his balcony, while officials from the investigative committee executed a search warrant of his apartment. Here's the funny part. They never mentioned if the apartment was the same place that the balcony was.
Probably.
I got a kick out of that when I read that. They were like, they searched his apartment, but he fell out of a balcony, possibly somewhere else. It's like, okay.
Whose balcony was he on?
I don't know. Balki Bartokumus. I don't know. You should know that name. This is Vladimir Mackay, which is not, he's not related to me. Some of you know my real last name. Some of you know that that is a Irish and Scottish historical name that sounds similar to this guy's name, we're not related. Night Strike is related to everybody. I'm not. Anyway,
I'm not actually related to everybody. I just have a weird family tree.
this guy was age 64. He was the foreign minister of Belarus for 10 years between 2012 to 22. He died November 26, 22, in Minsk, Belarus. He had reported to have died 4 days after returning from a collective security treatment organization summit in Armenia, accompanying the representatives of one Vladimir Putin. Guess he didn't like what he had to say. Moving on. I mean, is like, if you're in the chat still, this list is ridiculous, right? It's still going. Like, you're probably wondering, how many more fucking people are we gonna name? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you at the end of this. This is Vyacheslav Taran. Taran? Vyacheslav Taran. Because Taran Tactical, right? Let's just play with that. He was 53 years old. He was the co-founder of Libertex, a cryptocurrency and foreign exchange market company. He died November 25th of 22 in, drum roll please, Villefranche-sur-Mer in the French Riviera. Here's the funny part. Location of death, Villefranche-sur-Mer in the French Riviera. Cause of death? Died in a helicopter crash after taking off from Switzerland. How's that work?
He had to go to the bank.
Location of death, France. French Riviera's on the south coast. Died taking off from the Swiss Alps. How's that work?
I don't know.
I don't either. But you know what? The world accepted that cause of death and moved on with life. That would be like JFK was shot in the head in Dallas, but he was declared dead in Montana. How'd that... Moving on. This is Nikolai Petrunin, aged 46, deputy of the State Duma. Mike, you know what the Duma is, don't you?
I know where the Duma is. Yeah,
Explain to the good people what the Duma is.
it's Putin's stronghold, among many other things.
No, that's good enough. I'm satisfied with that. He died October 12th, 2022 in Moscow from, quote, alleged complications from the Rona. Okay, I'll give you that one. I mean, somebody has to die of the Rona, right? Okay. The one. That's the only one you get for the Rona. It's about the right time of year, too, right? This is Pavel Pchelnikov. P-C-H. Pchelnikov. I think the P is probably silent. It's probably like Pchelnikov. Like, you gotta really spit it out like you're in the middle of a sneeze. Aged 52, director of digital logistics, a Russian railway subsidiary. He died September 28th, 2022, on the balcony of an apartment in Moscow. But before you think he fell off the balcony, you'd be dead wrong. You'd be almost as dead as this guy. He shot himself on the balcony of his apartment. Although the gun...
that's not fair.
Well, here's the best part. Rifle caliber round, no pistol ever recovered next to the body, but shot himself on a balcony. Okay, fine.
Come
Whatever.
on, let's the dude shot himself on a balcony. Okay, let's give him the
Rifle
benefit of the doubt.
caliber round, no pistol found. Okay.
Yeah, that's a sniping.
Yeah. Anatoly Gerashchenko. That's what this guy is. Age 72. Former head of the Moscow Aviation Institute. So this is probably the guy that was responsible for the failure known as the Su-57 Felon, right? Seems to make sense.
Either that or O King, the plane that got shot down that Prigozhin was on.
No, no, that was a private jet. No, this guy, he's the Moscow Aviation Institute. He helped design the Felon, which doesn't work. He died September 21st, 2022, in a stairway within the Moscow Aviation Institute. Reportedly fell down a flight of stairs.
Oh,
Died
you
of
know,
died of blunt force trauma.
I have to say,
Go on.
as someone who's fallen downstairs, it's not fun.
No. And when you're 72 and you design a shitty, alleged fifth generation stealth fighter that doesn't work, yeah, things are gonna happen.
According to military YouTubers, it's more like a 4.5 gen.
Yeah, well, something's gonna happen to the guy who designed it, or helped design it, or tested, or criticized it, or whatever. He fell down some stairs. Take the elevator. If you're 70 plus years old, take the elevator. That's the moral of the story. If you're in Russia, always take the elevator. And even if you're on the elevator, wear a parachute. Anyway. Okay. I promise we're almost done. Not really. This is Vladimir Sungorkin, aged 68. Editor-in-chief of Komsomolskaya Pravda. He died September 14th, 2022. Roshchino, Khabarovsk district. Reportedly suffered a stroke and suffocated on the way to lunch.
I didn't know you could do both.
Yeah! That's the point. It's like, I'm the editor-in-chief of a newspaper, right?
I'm impressed.
It's September 14th. I'm getting a little bit peckish. Think I'll have some lunch, right? Now, this guy doesn't look like a poor, so he's not going to be some rotten-toothed, barley-eating Slav, right? He ain't eating borscht, right? He's probably going to have some crackers with some beluga caviar, maybe a crisp white on the side. Yeah? He's going to eat something, maybe some pate on a cracker, something like that, right? And he's thinking about these things, and his mouth is starting to water, and he's having a good old time. He's like, yeah, I can't wait to bite down on that, right? Then all of a sudden, he just starts choking. And then he has a stroke. He just
uncontrollably
falls over, dead, on the way to lunch. Right. Okay.
I don't buy it either.
We'll go with that. Sure. This is... Now, I don't know if I want to say Ivan or Ivan.
Ivan.
But let's go with Ivan Pechorin. I'm going to go with Ivan Pechorin. That sounds... No, this is Russian, dude. It's Ivan Pechorin. That sounds about right. He was aged 39. So
He's younger than me.
I'm +5 on this guy already, right? Director of Aviation of the Russian Far East and Arctic Development Corporation. So, planes that can fly in very cold places. He died September 10th, 2022, on a beach.
On a beach.
Okay. I design planes that fly in very cold places. Let's go die on a beach. In Beregovoy, Amur Oblast. Drowned at Cape Ignatiev, Vladivostok.
Ah, good old Vladivostok.
Body found washed up in Beregovoy. 2 days later. Apparently fell from his boat. Now, let me replay this for you. I am a guy who is the director of aviation of a place that deals with planes that fly in very cold places. I died on a beach in Vladivostok. But my
Oh,
body wasn't found until 2 days later, and they said I fell off of a boat.
maybe it's bad English, and he didn't die on a beach. He died on a bitch.
Maybe he died on a boat and got washed up on a beach, but I'm an aircraft guy, and I drowned. Eh. Okay, I'm not saying this guy didn't have a boat, but then he drowned on a beach. What happened to the boat? No mention. Did he go by himself? No mention. Was there a crew? No mention.
We went.
Did the boat come back to port? No mention. You know what we do know about Vladivostok? China can do whatever the fuck they want there. Because they wanted it back, and Russia said, no, but you can use it as much as you'd like. And that was good enough for China. But this guy,
China just wanted it to dock their boats. Let's be honest.
this guy fell off a boat. Drowned.
Well, they had to make space.
I guess. That's funny. That's funny. You're on it tonight.
They had to make space for the Chinese. Let's
I
be honest.
guess. This is Ravel Maganov, aged 67. He was the chairman of Lukoil. Let's see. Somebody died a year later who was the chairman of Lukoil. So I guess this guy was the previous chairman of Lukoil. Apparently Putin really hates Lukoil. He died September 10th, 2022, below a window of the Kremlin hospital in Moscow. This is the best part. Reportedly hospitalized for heart problems and depression, then fell out of a window.
Ah, there it is.
There it is.
Those pesky Russian windows.
Fucking windows. Like, it's like Mario Kart. Who put this banana peel here?
But it's in Russian. Who
Right.
put this window here?
So, this is not a Russian. This is Dan Rappaport. This is an American.
I'm feeling kind of ripped off that
Yeah.
there's not another Russian.
No, this motherfucker's got aviators on. This is
I
Dan
know,
Rappaport, aged 52, American, businessman, investment banker, and avid Putin critic. He died August 14th, 2022. The address of his death, 2400 Main Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Found in the street after an apparent fall from a high-rise apartment building. It's not just pesky Russian windows, is it? Apparently there were problems in D.C. too.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Those investments did not pay off.
I think the moral of the story is invest in low-altitude parachutes. Or personal body airbags or something. I don't fucking know. Slip and slides?
Yeah, you may be on
Giant whoopee cushions.
Giant whoopee cushions would be good. Yes.
This is Yuri Voronov, age 61. He was the CEO of Astra Shipping, the subcontractor of Gazprom. You remember that name, Gazprom?
It sounds familiar.
Weren't they the guys who were, I don't know, the people who were pumping the gas in the Nord Stream pipeline?
Were they?
Blew up mysteriously?
Were they?
Yeah. He died the 4th of July, 2022.
Well,
In a swimming pool of a residence in Leningrad Oblast.
He must have been patriotic.
Well, CEO of Astra Shipping, subcontractor of a gas company that was responsible for the shit that blew up in the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. Sounds right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Found dead in a swimming pool in Leningrad. Cause of death, multiple gunshot wounds to the head. Pistol was found next to his body. He was in a pool. Okay. Right. Moving on. I don't want to die mysteriously. I'm just going to move on. This is
You may anyways.
It's going to be cuz I made some bad dietary choices. And no, I'm not Rick's life as I eat it. I'm quite fit. So if I do die by mysterious circumstances, it wasn't for poor diet. I might have
remember what Weird Al said, just eat it.
I might have drank too much and fell asleep with my head in the toilet or something. Anyway, this is Alexander Sabatin, age 43. Here we go again. Board member of Lukoil, third Lukoil guy. He died May 8th, 2022. In the basement.
Starting to see a trend here.
Oh, it gets better. In the basement of a Jamaican shaman's residence in Moscow. Cool Runnings in Moscow. Reportedly,
Cool Runnings.
Oh, it gets better. Reportedly died from a drug-induced heart attack during a shamanic ritual. Although critics allege he was hit with toad poison. I bet if you find all these other people who died of mysterious heart attacks and strokes, you might find the same alleged toad poison.
Yeah, possibly.
My question is, what the fuck is a Jamaican shaman doing in Moscow?
I don't know either, and I'd just like to know is how the hell he got real estate there.
2022 was not a Winter Olympics year in Moscow, nor was it a Summer Olympics event in Moscow. Why is a Jamaican shaman in Moscow? Anyway, moving on. Too weird for me.
I got it. Because he wanted to stay out of the heat, man.
This is Andrei Krukovsky, age 37, general director of the Stoodok Krasnaya Polyana, a ski resort owned by Gazprom. You know, the people who pump the gas into the Nord Stream pipeline that mysteriously blew up. Yeah, you see how this is all linking together. He died May 1st, 2022, below a cliff near the Akhips Fortress in Sochi, where a Winter Olympics did happen. He reportedly fell off the cliff while hiking to the Akhips Fortress.
Allegedly.
Now, let me just set the table for you. Oh, I can't, because there's another Gazprom below. Let me move. Let's keep going. I didn't realize there was a fourth. God damn it. This is Sergei Protosenya. Sorry. Didn't put the accent mark in the right place. My mistake. Aged 55.
We are having a guess.
I chose this photo because it involves his wife and his daughter. Okay? Lovely family. I'm not going to criticize. I'm not judging. I'm just husband, wife, and daughter, right? Prototypical family. He was the former deputy chairman of Novatech. He died April 19th, 2022, in the garden of a resident in Lloret de Mar in Spain. Okay?
España.
Cause of death. Found hanged from a handrail in the yard. Wife and daughter, in the photo, found dead in their beds with blunt axe wounds and stab wounds about their head and torso. That's not mysterious. That's a statement. That's like mafioso statement.
Yeah, that sounds more like mob style execution than KGB.
Now, you notice I started at 2024, worked my way backwards. as I gave you this list, I think they started really hard like this to get their eye in and slowly refined it to more, quote, mysterious ways. But they went balls to the wall in the beginning. Like, let's make a statement. Let's axe murder the wife and kid and hang this guy. Maybe it'll scare everyone else. Nope. Obviously, didn't work because look at the number of people I already named above this guy.
I'm
Which,
I'm
oh my-
impressed they were able to hide that many.
Yeah, well, we're still going. This is Vladislav Avayev, aged 51, former vice president of Gazprom Bank. So he's the money man for Gazprom. Died April 18th, 2022, in an apartment in Moscow. Cause of death unknown. Even stranger, pregnant wife and 13-year-old daughter found dead beside him. Causes of death also unknown. See a pattern here?
I'm starting to, yes.
So, working from here forward, they decided to go nuts on Gazprom. Killed this guy and his wife and his kid. Tried to send a message with the most brutal way to kill somebody, right? Didn't work. Then moved up to, let's see, we had 4 Gazprom people. He was the first. 3 in the next 3 years, and they kept killing these Gazprom people to make a statement. And it never, ever worked in any instance. Like, Putin really hates Gazprom. Apparently, he also hates Lukoil. So it makes you wonder, what energy company is he invested in? Because he's killing the competition, literally. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
This is Vasily Melnikov, age 43, CEO and owner of MedStorm. He died March 23rd, 2022, in his apartment in Nizhny Novgorod. And his wife and 2 sons were also found dead beside him. Cause of death unknown for all 4 people.
Oh, that's too bad.
Right. This is Mikhail Watford, aged 66, businessman and a Ukrainian-born oligarch. He died February 28th, 2022.
He died because he was Ukrainian.
Well, he died in February 28th, 2022 in the garage of his residence in Surrey, England. Now here's the funny thing. British authorities have not found any evidence of a crime. He's dead in the garage, but we can't find anything to say that there was a crime. Right.
Do an autopsy on the body.
What was 2022? Like, he's dust, worm food by now.
Well,
This
I meant
is
then.
Alexander Tulikov with an Elroy Jetson haircut.
Oh boy.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead. Age 61, Deputy General Director of the Unified Settlement Center of Gazprom. 5 people. Died February 25th of 2022 in the garage of a residence in St. Petersburg. No confirmation that the residence and garage was his. Oh, one more thing. Suicide note found on his body. No implements of death were found with his body, just the note. Cause of death? Unknown. Okay. This is Igor Nosov. Age 40.
Igor!
Yeah, finally got an Igor. Age 43, CEO of the Far East and Arctic Development Corporation. Sound familiar? Because there was another guy up there, the Vladivostok guy. Former deputy governor of Nizhny Novgorod Oblast. He died February 8th, 2022 in Moscow. At 43, he reportedly suffered a stroke.
Well, he died in Moscow. Let's be honest.
Yeah, even though he was the Far East.
Yeah.
Near
He wasn't far enough east is what it was.
Nizhny Novgorod. He was near Vladivostok. But he died in Moscow of a stroke. Right. Okay. Maybe.
That might be the only one that may be legitimate.
The only Juan.
Yes, the only one.
This is Leonid Schulman, age 60. Director of Transport of Gazprom. That makes 6! Died January 30th, 2022, in the bathroom of a residence in Leningrad Oblast. In the bathroom. Leningrad Oblast. Found
you know
with...
what they say? When you gotta go, you gotta go.
This is the best one, though. So he died in the bathroom, right?
Apparently.
Found with multiple stab wounds. And a suicide note.
Yeah, you know, I'm not quite feeling it.
But whatever, right? Okay, so that is the end of my list from 2022 to today. Okay? That was like 50 something people, right?
Right.
That we know of. Now, I read a statistic that between the years 2014 to 2018, 73 people died of mysterious circumstances that were critics of Putin. 73 between 2014 to 2018. I gave you over 50 names between 2022 to 2024. So how many people died between 2018 and 2022? I don't know.
We don't have the numbers.
But they're all, quote, mysterious deaths. The moral of the story is, don't criticize Putin, because you may fall out of a window. Yeah?
Luckily, my windows aren't high enough up that I'd die from it.
I live in a one-story house.
I've got a 2-story house. I can
Okay,
survive
so this photo here, I thought what we would do is we would answer the question of what is the polar wolf, which is the prison that Alexei Navalny, see how I'm bringing it all back around, where he died. So, Mike, you already know where I got this. FKU IK3 of the Federal Penitentiary Service of Russia for the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug, also known as the Polar Wolf. This is a men's high-security corrective colony located in the village of Karp, not the fish, in the Prioralsky district of the Yamalo-Nenets
I would like to
Autonomous
mention
Okrug.
that if you look at Karp, there's tons of penal colonies surrounding it.
Yes. It's
Tons
like...
There's
almost-
there's IK3, there's more than just IK3. There's
Right.
tons of them.
It's almost like the map of concentration camps in eastern Poland. That sort of shotgunning of it.
I don't really want to touch that one, but okay, I'll agree with you on that.
It has an occupancy limit of 1,085 people. The colony was founded on the 21st of October in 1961 on the camp unit of the 501st Gulag construction site.
This is a bad joke. The inmates are just dying to get out.
No, Jesus. It was initially known as Yats 34-3. 1964.
That was a bad joke. I was honest.
Well, it was. In 1964, the first residential buildings for convicts, a medical unit, a boiler room, a bathhouse, a laundry, showers that had gas heads on it probably, a dormitory for the colony settlement section, and a central checkpoint building were built. From 1966 to 1970, the convicts worked in quarries, loading sand and gravel for filling the railway track. In 1964, the first permanent building was built in the village. In 1966, a canteen, bar, the buildings, a headquarters building, and a fire station were built. The first batch of especially dangerous convicted repeat offenders was brought to the colony in 1967. 4 years later, in 1971, warehouses, an ice house, which it's in the polar north. Why the fuck do you need that? And shelters to garage the institution's equipment were built. Since 1985, IK3 has been actively developing. The convicts held there were employed in manufacture at minimum wage, which is probably more than what is being paid for minimum wage in the state of California. In 1999, the Temple of Saint Sergius of Radonezh, no, I didn't say that right. Radonezh was opened and built by convicts. In 1998, reform of the penal system began, and responsibility for the institution moved from the Ministry of Internal Affairs to the Ministry of Justice. In 1999, the institution came under direct control of the Department of Execution of Punishments for the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug. It was renamed from YATS 34-3 to Institution OG 98-3. This is just labels. In 2004, the institution was renamed to FGU IK3 Federal Penitentiary Service of Russia for the Yamal-Nenets Autonomous Okrug. It's sort of like they keep changing business names to avoid legal issues, isn't it? Since
Yeah.
2008, since June of 2008, it has been known as FGU IK3 Federal Penitentiary Service of Russia for the Yamal-Nenets Autonomous Okrug. You fat, barley-eating, lazy Slav bastards. You named it the exact same fucking thing. You just took out the word federal. In 2002, a section for the general regime prisoners was created in the institution. In July 2006, a high-security section was opened in the colony and converted residential buildings number 4, 5, and 6. In November 2006, a colony settlement section was opened. In October 2010, general and strict regime sections were ended, and convicts from these sections were sent to serve their sentences in other regions. This is all word salad. What you need to know about this shithole known as the Polar Wolf is if you go into this place, you don't come out of it alive. Almost ever. It's sort of like Alien 3. It's a prison in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you're going to die. There's nothing there for you. Ice, bullets, steel, death. And unfortunately, that's what Alexei Navalny found out. Here's the fucked up thing. Alexei Navalny's wife got to see her husband several days earlier. She reported to say that he was healthy and happy to see his wife. He was in good spirits, and he appeared to be in good health. So the question now is, how did he die? We will never get the answer to that, will we?
No.
Because he's dead.
Mhm.
Derp. So, I guess the big question now is, why do so many people in Russia keep falling out of windows? Do you know?
Why do they keep falling out of windows? Because
have a
there
theory?
just might be something really interesting out those windows.
But do you have a theory?
Do you have a theory?
I don't.
No, I don't either. It's just There must be something seriously interesting out those windows. That's all I can say. But let's talk about Navalny. Okay.
Okay.
So we were talking earlier before the chat, and I alluded to this earlier when we were going through everything.
Right.
But a lot of countries are pissed off that Navalny is gone now.
Yes.
A lot of people are angry.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's enough to spark a conflict, but it's enough to do something. I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not psychic, even though I claim to be. You know, it's only because I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express one time. All right? But the situation is having that interview and then going and doing this, you know, intentionally to piss off everybody in the world, you end up making Navalny, whether you intended it to or not, a martyr.
Yes.
And if anybody follows up on Navalny's, Navalny's ways, then they're gonna continue speaking out against him. Well, or you may have started a civil war, or a conflict, or a coup, and Navalny will be the martyr that they use.
Well,
and that's his own damn fault.
Possibly. Thing is, as we've seen through this entire list of people that I've showed you down the conga line of deaths here, they will try to make a statement by killing somebody, sometimes in very brutal ways, sometimes with their families and their children or whatever, and yet the resistance to the status quo continues. So it comes down to, even if someone stands up to this regime, do they have money, power, military influence, and resources, or any of the combination of those things, to actually make a dent? Because at the end of the day, it's still going to come down to oppressive government with oppressive military and oppressive police to oppress the people who can't uprise against the status quo, right? And nobody from the outside is going to interfere, because at the end of the day, Russia's still a nuclear power. See, that's the power of power. That is why the West is trying to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear warhead, or letting North Korea continue to develop one that actually works. Because once the genie is out of the bottle and you join the nuclear club, it doesn't matter how small your country is, or how corrupt it is, or how shitty it is, or how isolated it is. As soon as you have the means of mutual destruction, you have just elevated yourself diplomatically to a very elite club of nations that will not fuck with you, because they know that you have the ability to eradicate mankind just like they do. There's a very small list. It's a very elite club. Making Navalny a martyr could bring about revolution, but it has to be done from within. We cannot influence that. We being any country, not them, because they're a nuclear power. If a nuclear power tries to influence another nuclear power by saying, you should have this coup and you should overthrow that dickhead, then you are taking a nuclear power and threatening another one. You cannot do that. So it would take a non-nuclear power, or several of them, to band together with this, quote, resistance in Russia that may have supported Navalny, and then make something happen. But you know what? They're not going to do that, are they? I think what's going to end up happening is now I'm not saying this financially speaking, the poor people, the ones that are downtrodden, the ones that are being beaten down politically and socially, they're just going to have to bide their time and wait till this bastard dies. because nobody's going to kill him. He's untouchable. It's a bleak outlook, but he's untouchable. Because a nuclear power is not going to touch him. Because that would just provoke another nuclear power. I think that's a fair estimate. So with that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. Because we went on a whole lot longer than I thought we were.
And it's because you went through everybody.
Because you needed to see it. To see how absurd the list is. Well, they needed to know. This was the War Room. This was day 723. If you like what you saw, hit the old like button. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a regular here, welcome back. Either way, check out my other playlists and see if either interest may be of interest to you. Maybe share it with a friend. Maybe invite them to my channel. Maybe let them know that we do this on occasion. Anyway, this was the War Room. Regular service will resume tomorrow when I get my Tinker stuff and all that other good shit. But until then, we will see you later.
Hasta mañana.
Shall not be infringed?
Shall not be infringed. Hold on, we got to say this properly. Slava Ukraini.
Heroyam Slava.
Heroyam Slava, yeah. So,
Later.
all right.